Hello again, friends. Okay, so for our grammar lessons or our grammar skill that goes along with our story, Animals Building Homes, we're going to be talking more about plural nouns. So let me do just a real quick review. Remember, if something is singular, if a noun is singular, it means one. If a noun is plural, it means more than one. And we spent the last 2 weeks talking about plural nouns. And I'm going to just review real quickly what we already learned about plural nouns. And if you notice right here, it says we add an S to most nouns that name more than one. And that's what we practiced with our last story, is we usually added an S to the nouns when we were talking about more than one of something. But now we have something a little bit different. Sometimes we can't just add an S, and we're going to talk about when we can't just add an S and when we have to add letters ES instead. So we would add ES to a noun that ends with the letter S, X, CH, and SH to name more than one. Sorry, I moved my pen a little bit there. Let me highlight that again, and I'll repeat myself. We are going to add ES to nouns that end with S, X, CH, and SH to name more than one. So for example, we have one finch, two finches. Now, we talked really briefly when we were talking about plural nouns, how you kind of hear that hissing sound, finches, at the very end, okay? And you actually hear it when you say the ES. We don't say finches, we say finches, and you can hear the S as sound at the end. So on this projectable, if we were going over this in class, one of the things that we would be doing is we would be writing the correct noun in each sentence. So we're just going to practice through this real quickly together. And then I have a reader's notebook page on your seesaw that you are actually going to do on your own that kind of goes along with this. So what we need to do is we need to decide which noun fits each sentence and then write it in the sentence to make sure that the sentence, or read the sentence to make sure that the sentence makes sense. So here's our first sentence. Two boys sit on a blank. We have the word porch. We have the word porches. So this is how I like to decide. I like to actually use both words in the blank and then decide which one sounds the best. So I'm going to use the first word. Two boys sit on a porch. Kind of sounds right, doesn't it? Let me try it again with the other word though. Two boys sit on a porches. Well, that doesn't really make sense. So, and I'm going to underline this word a right here real quick. Two boys sit on a porches. Well, porches means more than one. But a, when you see the word a, it's just talking about one. Like up here where it said two finches sat in a tree. They were sitting in one tree. So we would put the word porch on the line here if we were doing this in class, okay? Because we're just talking about two boys sitting on one porch together. And bear with me with my finger writing there. Okay, now let's go on to the next sentence. They saw many blank in a tree. I see this word many right here. I'm gonna underline that real quick, but then I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna use these two words into the blank. So I have the word finch and I have the word finches. So I'm going to use both words when I read through the sentence again. They saw many finch in a tree. They saw many finches in a tree. I see that word many. And so many I already know means more than one. And I already know that if I have more than one of something, I need to have an S or an S at the end. So I'm going to go with the word finches. So let me write the word finches in here. Finches. And then I'm going to read through the sentence to make sure that that makes sense because that's what the directions asked me to do. And it helps. They saw many finches in a tree. Yeah, that sounds good to me. All right. Now, let's go down to sentence number 3. The boys talk about birds on the blank. The. I'm going to underline the word the, because usually that word kind of gives me a clue if I'm talking about one or more than one. So here's my words. I have bus and I have buses. So let's see. The boys talk about birds on the bus. Well, that kind of sounds about right. The boys talk about birds on the buses. Well, actually, both sentences kind of sound right. But now I've got to kind of use my context clues. What would make sense? If there are people talking together about something, boys talking together about birds, then they're probably sitting in the same place or beside each other or near each other when they're talking, right? That kind of makes sense. So I don't think they would be on buses because that makes me think they would be in two different places, if not three or four or five different places. So I'm going to go with bus. And the word the can kind of tell me that it's talking about just one, like bus. So I'm going to use the word bus in my sentence here. And I'm going to read through the sentence. The boys talk about birds on the bus. I think that's my best choice. All right, let's look down here at number 4. They buy 3 blank of birdseed. Well, I see this word 3 right here. I'm going to kind of underline it so that it stands out to me. I have the word box. I have the word boxes. I kind of already know what's going to go there, but I'm going to read it with both words in the blank just to make sure. They buy 3 box of birdseed. That just felt weird saying it. So let me try it with the word boxes. They buy 3 boxes of birdseed. That sounds right. Boxes. Plus, look at that word that I underlined right before the word boxes, or right before where I'm writing the word boxes. I underlined the word 3, didn't I? 3 obviously means more than 1. And we already know that if it's more than 1, we have to add an S or an ES. All right, last but not least, they leave food for the birds in 2 blank. Oh, here's the word 2. There's my clue right there. Let's see, I have dish and I have dishes. I bet I don't even have to read this. I bet you already know what goes in there, but I'm just going to go through it because it's the last one. I don't want to make it feel like it's being left out. So here we go. They leave food for the birds into dish. That just doesn't even feel right to say it like that. So let me read it this way. They leave food for the birds into dishes. That sounds right to me because I see that word 2 right here in front of where I'm writing the word dishes, and obviously 2 is more than 1, right? So what I want you to remember is that you usually add an S to most nouns that name more than 1. But sometimes you have to add an ES. If the word ends in an S, an X, a CH, or an SH, we have to add ES to name more than 1. So what you're going to do is you're going to go on to the next slide. You're going to watch a quick little video that talks about that same kind of thing. And then you will have a reader's notebook page to work on. And if you tap on the arrow next to the directions, it will read to you and tell you what you're supposed to do. Okay? Make sure you follow directions as you're working and you'll have no problem getting this done. All right, friends, I will talk to you later. Bye.